What is your opinion on the issue of local control? And can you relate that to youth in our city and what that means to young people and their voice? And we will start with Mr. Jeffries.
Local control is fundamental. In many ways, the people of North Public School System, in many ways, is a colony right now, where the state has taken away power from the residents of Newark. Where the residents of Newark do not elect the people who make decisions about our own children. And that by its very nature, suggests that our voice does not count. And that means not only the voices of adults, but the voices of young people. That a handful of folk 60 miles away can unilaterally make decisions that affect the future of these beautiful young people, that affect the future of our city. So that tells you a lot where that's a really disenfranchising sort of notion. Again, this is another area where we have a record. So again, as the president of the school board, I work with my colleagues on the board in 2010 and 2011 to reform our governance practices. We created a board procedures manual, went on a retreat where we talked about how we govern ourselves appropriately so we can pass the QSAC benchmark. There's only been one time we've ever passed that QSAC benchmark in terms of governance, and I think of our leadership. And then we should have gotten local control then. The state didn't give it to us then. We then worked together and brought lawyers and brought a lawsuit that helped to bring back the finance piece. So again, this is an area, as is all areas, where the words are nice, the words are beautiful. But after we stop talking, what is the fruit? What is the performance? Is there something that's going to change the outcome of the lives of these beautiful young people? And again, we're going to bring this record to City Hall because we need different results and outcomes for our young people in the city.
So I'm proud of 20 years of working in public education in Newark, where I have a very strong record of work that's actually been done in the city. The takeover of Newark Public Schools is tantamount to what was said in terms of slavery, in terms of us not having the opportunity to voice our concerns and tackle our democracy. The governor himself said specifically that the people of Newark should not be concerned about the public school system because he is in charge of the Newark Public School System. That tells you directly what he thinks. The superintendent just recently put out a letter that kind of defamed the character of the students of this community. The parents saying that because teachers went to a staff development that somehow crime would increase in the city. I think that is insensitive and it speaks to why the people of this community need to control the destiny of their schools and their communities. That's very clear. Since we've been here, I was a teacher when the state first took over the schools. When they came before us and said, this is the state-controlled school system now. I was a teacher then, and I'm an educator still in Newark 18, 19 years later in the city. We fought on the ground. So we went to court. The court said no. We passed QSAC. QSAC, they said no anyway. So the fruit of it is we still don't have local control. Local control will only come when we all get together. Institutions in this city, all the legislators, the student groups like you guys, here, Community Activist Union, everybody have to come together and tell the state and the governor that the schools belong to the families and the parents of this community.
I think all of us believe in local control, but the fundamental question that all of us should wrestle with in here, when we have local control, how are we going to organize and get together as leaders? We had local control prior to 1995, and we should have held ourselves accountable in terms of the policies that we passed and how we involved not just residents, not just parents, but the entire family of stakeholders. Local control is fundamental to freedom. But as we have this back and forth discussion about seizing local control, we need to have more focused discussions and planning to figure out what our educational mission is, how are we going to apply it to every single school, how are we going to implement, how are we going to empower parents and communities to keep us straight. Because if we don't empower people as we develop an agenda for our schools, then the same things that happened prior to 1995, they might happen again. Like I said when we started, we ought to have a real straight-up discussion about what local control means, but what our responsibilities are as residents in this town. And if we have those straight up discussions, if we bring people to the table, if we bring our other institutional partners to talk about what kinds of plans we should put together, what kind of education agenda, and then how we execute using the other stakeholders, not just the community, but our colleges, universities, our corporations, then that plan that we craft, when we have local control, it really will just be about executing that agenda. But without a plan, if we had local control, we're going to find ourselves exactly where we were prior to the state coming in 1995.